Kindly take down notes, you cannot remember everything. And click the subtitles so you can both hear and read.
Did you know that colored text can be set using text properties in CSS? Color property. Color property adds color to text-based elements. Color property values can be set in name, RGB, or hex values. The color property is often called as the foreground color of text. The color property inherits normally. Did you know that it is also possible to change the vertical alignment of a text selection using text properties? Vertical align property. Vertical align property sets text-based elements to be vertically aligned. Vertical align property contains 8 possible values. Vertical align property baseline is the default value, the element is placed at the baseline of the parent element. Vertical align property middle places the element at the middle of the parent element. Vertical align property sub-aligns the element as if it is a subscript. Vertical align property super-aligns the element as if it is a superscript. Vertical align property text top and text bottom aligns the top or bottom of the element with the top or bottom of the parent element's font. Vertical align property top and bottom aligns the top or bottom of the element to the lowest or tallest element on the line. Vertical align property should not be used as a substitute for text that needs to be either be in superscript or subscript. Using the top and bottom alignment may create an unsolvable situation can occur, where element dependencies from a loop. Did you know that basic text alignment can be managed by the text property, text align? Text align property. Text align property sets the horizontal alignment of text in an element. Text align property values accepted are common alignment attributes / values, left, right, and justify. The property does not support the center alignment. The property can be used in conjunction with the word spacing property. Elements must have text for this property to take effect. The property applies to inline content of a block element. Did you know that there is a text property that can also alter the case of text? Text transform property. Text transform property changes the case of text in elements. Text transform property functions similarly to the font variant property. Text transform property can have one of 4 properties. Text transform property capitalizes first character of each word. Text transform property uppercase capitalizes all characters of each word. Text transform property lowercase uses small letters for all characters of each word. Text transform property none is the default value, it does not affect text in any way. Actual transformation in each case is human language dependent. The property pushes the browser to turn everything into the defined value. Did you know that a text property exists to indent the first line of a paragraph or text block? Text indent property. Text indent property CSS allows HTML documents to have tabs and indentations to text. Text indent property can have negative values, the first line will be indented to the left. Text indent property possible values can be in length or percentage values. Initially, an HTML document does not allow any tabs or indent-ins to text. Indentation cannot be inserted in the middle of an element that was broken by another, such as the BR element. Negative values for the property can produce a hanging indent for the text block. Did you know that the amount of space in between lines in a text block can also be defined using a text property? Line height property. Line height property sets the distance between lines. Line height property can have 4 accepted values: normal, defaults, sets reasonable distance between lines, a numerical value, it multiplied to the current font size to calculate for distance, length values, it sets a fixed distance and percentage values, It bases to the percentage value of the current font size. The default line height in most browsers is about 110% to 120%. The line height property behaves differently when a numerical value is specified. Line height is given by the font size of the current element multiplied with the numerical value. Child elements will inherit the factor itself, not the resultant value. This characteristic is similar with percentage values and other units. On your screen are some example of CSS list properties. Number 1, list style. List style sets all the properties for a list on one declaration. Number 2, list style image. List style image specifies an image as the list item marker. Number 3, list style position, specifies where to place the list item marker. Number 4, list style type. List style type specifies the type of list item marker. Font properties. Font properties considered as one of the common uses for CSS. Font properties uses the font as the base keyword for its aligned properties. Font properties apply to all elements and are inherited. Did you know that the keyword font can be used to set all font properties under a single CSS rule, and font properties can be set individually per rule? Font family property. Font family property changes font family attributes of text-based elements. Font family property functions similarly to the face attribute of the font HTML element. Font family property can contain two values. Family name refers to the font family name like Times, Courier, and Arial. Generic family refers to the generic font name like serif, sans serif, cursive, fantasy, and monospace. Did you know that both values can be set? Family name is to be used when the font is supported by a web browser, while generic family is used another alternative to display text. Style sheet designers are encouraged to offer a generic font family so text can still be displayed properly by the web page, and another CSS property is available when there is a need to change the style of a given text element. Font style property. Font style property changes the font style of text-based elements. Font style property functions similarly to the B, bold, and I, italic, text elements. Font style property can contain three values. Normal is the default property value. This value does not have any visible changes on text. Italic displays text italicized, sometimes replaced with the oblique value if it's not available for the current browser. Oblique displays text italicized, but in a more uniform or different appearance than italic. Did you know that the oblique value may be used to replace italic values in some pages and web browsers and vice versa, and there is sometimes a need to change the case of text whenever there is a need to stress important in a part of a web page. Font variant property. Font variant property changes the case of text-based elements. Font variant property causes text to be transformed to uppercase, therefore the same considerations as for the text transform property apply. Font variant property. There may be other variants in the font family as well, such as fonts with old style numerals, small caps numerals, condensed or expanded letters, etc. Font variant property can contain two values. Normal displays the normal/regular font defined in the HTML document. Small caps value displays the text in all caps, but in a smaller font size. Inherit is used when text must inherit the font variant property from its parent element. Did you know that there is no way to use all caps with normal text size in CSS rules? It is better to just write them in all caps manually to save time and effort, and there is a method in CSS that allows changing of a font's thickness aside from the default method of displaying text in boldface. Font weight property. Font weight property defines the actual weight for the font of text-based elements. Font weight property uses name and percentage values. Font weight property may have different values that produce the same effect. Did you know that the font weight property allows different font weights to produce different appearances in different font families, and change in font size can also be managed by CSS rules. Font size property. Font size property changes font size for text-based elements. Font size property functions similarly to the size attribute of the font HTML element. Font size property certain sizes that can be applied according to what is defined in their rules. Did you know that X and XX values in small and large type values pertain to extra and double extra adjustments to small and large type values? For example, X small means extra small while XX small means double extra small, each decreasing the normal font size by a significant amount, and if values defined in this property are not included or defined by the browsers or not close to it, the browser is free to interpolate between tables entries or round off to the closest one. Like the padding property, borders for both tables and frame can be set using a single property type. Border properties. Border properties allows the setting of the style and color of a box type element's borders. In HTML, borders can only be applied in tables, while in CSS, it can be applied to any elements. Border properties. Most properties can have up to 4 values, with the following interpretation. 1 value, all 4 border widths are set to that value. 2 values, top and bottom border widths are set to the first value, right and left are set to the second. 3 values, top is set to the first, right and left are set to the second, bottom is set to the third. 4 values, top, right, bottom, and left, respectively. Did you know that there are 3 primary values for border properties? Number 1, border width, which sets the width of the 4 corners of the border. Number 2, border style, which determines what type of border will be drawn. And number 3, border color, determines the border's color. Border style value must be set for identifying a more specific attribute for borders. If no color value is specified for elements inside a box type element, then the value of border color will take its place. The border property cannot set different values on the 4 borders. Here are the other border properties that you may use.